Wasabi. And I won't lie to you, it feels good to be reviewing a figure in a normal scale. And normal in a sense of the last couple things I've reviewed have been 6 scale and larger, and I'm just not in the mood for it. It's very hard to fit in the light box. So we're going back to more smaller scale figures, which is kind of refreshing. I don't expect this review to be the longest because I don't have much to say about this Batman in a sense of it's not bad, but like I do have a few gripes with it that kind of make it a drawback, and I don't know if I can recommend it. Now, it's not a horrible figure at all, and I know tons of people will have the typical complaints I've seen is it's not completely color accurate to the movie. I've seen people complain about something like this that might not be accurate in other companies like SH Figure Arts getting that right on the boots. I don't care about stuff like that. That's very minuscule to me. Doesn't bother me. I'll start off by I was really excited for this Batman. So when it first dropped, I missed the initial wave, like the first couple weeks it came out. So I was part of that like July release, like first week of July he showed up, and I was really excited for him. I won't lie to you. I quickly started seeing some drawbacks with him. And as in drawbacks, I mean, I did not expect him to have such limited mobility. So like, I've known Mezco, because this is about my third figure, I've noticed that some of their figures, or most of their figures that I've collected, don't have the best articulation. It's not horrible, but it's really not the best. But it's not a selling feature or a selling point for this brand. You're buying it for the soft goods, you're buying it for the aesthetic. Now, I will say I'm not a fan of the soft goods choice they chose with this armor. I don't know if it's the padding underneath to give him muscle or definition. I'll show you in the articulation section, and there really isn't much of articulation. But like, this is like next level, like kind of disappointing compared to what I've gotten from Mezco. Like my Mezco Spider-Man, obviously he's not as articulated as I would like him to be for a Spider-Man figure, but he still could hit some pretty nice poses. My Mezco Wolverine had pretty much basic articulation for a standard figure of the time he would have came out, maybe a couple years prior. But this is like, you can't even like bend the legs on this figure. The arms don't have much bend to them. Like I said, he looks good, and he looks good in most stationary and standing poses, but that's pretty much all you're gonna get. Or you're gonna get like an open leg kind of like punching stance, and that's about it. You're not gonna get much with this figure in terms of articulation. So that's a major drawback. And why, if you're looking for something with a lot of articulation, it might make more sense to go for the SH Figure Arts or the Mafex. There might be a Mafex. I could be wrong. I know there's an SH Figure Arts. The Pattinson. This is my second soft goods cloak that I've received with a figure I've collected. And I will say I was let down because maybe I had my hopes too high. I thought, oh, I'm finally going to have a soft goods cloak on a figure. I've never had that before. I'm going to be able to do such crazy dynamic poses. But then you get this figure out the box and realize they only put wire here and here. So the inside of the cape doesn't hold its shape. And you can only really pose with the outside. And even then it doesn't look the best. So that was one of the major disappointments I had with this figure, because I was really excited. Maybe I was coming off the high of my SH Figure Arts Gohan that just came out, and with the cloak, that cloak was amazing. So I was thinking, oh, maybe this is Mezco, it's definitely going to be better. And it was quite a letdown, to be honest. But that's not something to dismay you from buying the figure. That's just something personally I didn't enjoy. Now for $125, he's only going to be a display, and that's what most of these Mezco figures feature. Now, it's nice. Obviously, I've gone over all of the different accessories you get. If you haven't seen that, go check out my unboxing. I did an in-depth unboxing, and I tried to give attention to every little detail and figure and piece and part that they included. There's such small things in there that it can become very tedious and hard to lose. But Mezco knocks it out the park just as usual with their overabundance of accessories. And it can be a blessing and a curse, because sometimes I feel like the accessories they include are just to include accessories. Like, as much as I like having something like a UV light or an EpiPen or some sort of pen like that, I don't see the necessity or the need for, like, what am I going to do with that? I'm not going to take a picture with him holding a flare or a UV light or whatever kind of pen he had. But, like, it's cool to have, yes. But sometimes I wonder if Mezco can retool the accessories they give, instead of just giving, oh, this was in a movie for this amount of time, and this one was in a movie for this, and this was in a movie for that. No. Now, like I said, people do complain about things like his color not being screen accurate, his suit having some changes or liberties made to him for him to look better. I'm not here for all that. I could care less. He looks close enough and accurate enough to Pattinson as he looked to me in the movie. It was a dark movie anyway, and I'm not going to be a stickler about that anyway. Another small gripe, and I know this is asking too much for such a small scale figure, but I wouldn't have minded the Batarang in his chest coming out. That would have been a cool feature. I don't expect it, but like, would have been nice, right? I guess we can go over his articulation. There's not much here, and you'll quickly see what I mean by it is kind of lackluster to borderline disappointing. So for articulation, as I was saying, there's not much here, and it's quite disappointing. So I guess we could start with the head. The head does 360 fairly easy and fairly well, so I'm not disappointed there. Where I draw my gripes are here. The arms extend fairly well, fairly decent out like that. You get a good bend there. It's not terrible. Wrist articulation, there is no bend whatsoever in the torso, so don't expect any kind of ab crunch or anything like that. Now here's where I come in with my difficulties with the legs. That's as high as the leg will go. That's as high as it will bend. Oh wait, no. That's as high as it will bend. And I felt a lot of tension, and it felt hard to do, but that's as high as it will bend. You don't have a toe bend, but you do have 360 swivel on the boot. There's not much motion forward and back, and but there is pretty decent side to side. The legs do go about up. That's as far back as they'll go. Yeah, and this is as far out as you're gonna get the legs. So like I said, he's really hindered by the armor or the padding under his armor. So I don't like the choice of cloth they went for, or maybe it's the padding, I don't know. Either way, I feel like they made him too bulky, and because of that, he's suffering in terms of his articulation. What I'll say about this head sculpt is, it's not terrible, but I did want to touch further on this. I lightly mentioned it in my unboxing, but this head sculpt looks better in promotional pictures, probably due to angling. And when you actually get it out the box and you have the figure in hand, it does not look good when you're close up to it. This is definitely a far away head sculpt, so the squint of the eye or the light glance out of the peripherals will give you, oh, that's Robert Pattinson, but it's not gonna feel like, you see how like now, further away, you're like, oh, okay, I see the resemblance, I see Rob, but then the closer you get to it, it just starts to look more and more and more not accurate at all. Like, that looks terrible when you get really close to it, but far away, no, it looks really dope. And I don't mean it like that's like the head sculpt's terrible. It's not. I just don't intend on having him wear it, especially because of, it's just, I don't know, the more I look at it, the less I like it. Like I said, it's passable, it would do the job in a display and I walked by it, oh, that's Batman. But I don't know if I could keep this as the mainstay head sculpt. I see the effort, I see they included it, but I don't know. So far, this Batman has been it's been very lackluster, and it's let me down in the sense of I expected a little bit more from Mezco, especially with the 2 prior releases that I picked up from them. I thought, oh, this would be a knockout. This would be, you know, right out the park, a home run. I don't know. I feel weird recommending this. I'm in like a weird space with it. There's another thing that I want to share about this figure that is just... This. Now, I've touched on this in my unboxing. I'm not a fan of this whole flight suit design in general. I thought it was ugly. I understand it's more practical. It's a more real-world Batman. It's also a Batman who's just starting out, so he hasn't got his tech down. I get that. This is so ugly. Now, as a whole, as an accessory, though, I thought this was going to be tedious. I thought I was going to be annoyed. He slipped right in there. Pause.
Ding, 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 ding. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop.
No Diddy, but yeah, he got into this flight suit. He got into the flight suit no problem, and it honestly was refreshing. And yes, it's movie accurate to an extent, and it fit the part, it did its job very well. I wasn't mad at it. Am I going to use it? No. Will I take a photo in it? Maybe. Posing him in it is kind of hard, because once he is in this, you can't get the Mezco stand arm around it, but like I said, this is just the have. I have no use for this thing, but there are people who do. Can I recommend this figure? Well, let's put it like this. If you're a fan of Mezco and you're collecting for the sake of you like everything Mezco puts out, or you like a majority of what Mezco puts out, or you're just a fanboy of Mezco and they're your favorite brand, then sure, buy this figure. Now, if you're looking for a definitive Robert Pattinson Batman, I probably, though I don't have them, I might recommend the SH Figure Arts, because from what I've seen, most people say it's more accurate, and at least that has a range of motion. The soft goods in this example just don't work, or they weren't executed properly. Is it worth the $125 price tag? Probably not. Would I say wait and see if it drops in price anywhere? It's not going to. So at the end of the day, you're probably just going to end up paying retail no matter when you get it. Now, maybe if you get it on eBay or you get it from somebody you know, you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper. Do I think it's worth the price tag it has? No, I don't. Do I think it's still a worthy pickup to some people? Yeah, if you're a Mezco guy. But I can't, in good conscience, recommend this to someone who is just looking for a Robert Pattinson Batman, because there are better renditions out there. Like, even the McFarlane Toyz one looks better in a sense of articulation. Now, if you want like a real cloth, soft goods, as accurate as it can be, but still took its own liberties, then this is a suit I can recommend. Like, you know what you're getting into when you buy this, and this is geared and made toward a specific collector. Now, the range of motion and mobility is a huge drawback, because it has substandard articulation. That is also another reason why I can't say I, in good conscience, want to recommend this figure. So, with that, I say it's up to you, honestly. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support. If you could comment down below any of your thoughts. If you could also like, share, and subscribe. Anything helps us grow. Peace out. Reviewing this Batman. You could say I'm a Bat fan. Reviewing the Battinson. He kind of like a Pattinson. Ooh, he a Patsy. What's up, Batsy? Kind of like the Joker. Used to be a toker. Alright, my bars is whack. Sorry, guys. Peace.